So, to no one's surprise, Froze slash Everskies denied any wrongdoing of any allegations, even though I have provided nothing but proof of screenshots between them and I, and between other people and Froze. Just a quick recap for those of you who have not watched the first video. Dark, also known as Froze or Everskies, groomed 4 minors through 2021 through 2022. I also interviewed one of the victims of Dark, who is the 14-year-old. The very concerning part is after them addressing the post on Twitter, decides it's a good idea to start posting NSFW content on their Twitter. I personally don't think anybody who has groomed a minor should be allowed to have an NSFW account. After the post of my last video, he also commented and tried to rage bait me about subbodying his channel, which I never made any accusations in my last video about subbotting. In his post, he says, getting accused of using bots by people who can't handle someone else gaining attention organically? That's not a flex. That's insecurity on full display. I'm good. Maybe you should try focusing on yourself. Skull emoji. And then replying to their own tweet, imagine being so jealous of someone's progress. Your first thought is, oh, he must be using bots. I worked for this. Just because it's not happening for you doesn't mean it's not real for me. Wild how you could see growth and immediately assume it's fake. He further went on to explain, saying, just to clarify, my YouTube channel was taken down about a year ago, not for botting, but due to copyright complications and a mistake with video privacy settings. It was a hard hit, but I've grown from it. Thank you to all those who stayed. I didn't accuse your channel of getting taken down because of subbotting. Furthermore, after my video coming in exposing them as a child predator, the DMs magically disappeared, but all mine are still there. And then you just start from the beginning on how you met Dark whenever you're ready.
All right. I met Dark 4-5 years ago. Same time I met you. And then after a while of being friends and everything, he started dating a 14-year-old. How long did it take us to like confront him? It was
pretty quick.
Yeah. And then obviously he said what in the screenshot.
I'm gonna pivot a little bit here and say, like, when you were in VR chat and you saw Dark in VR chat with the 14-year-old, would you describe their behavior as inappropriate?
To my memory and what I witnessed, I just know that they were like kind of just cuddling in public. They said like, I guess you could say like intimate things. I don't think anything like sexual. To my memory though, in public at least when I was there, I don't remember anything sexual or like actually like inappropriate going on.
But you would still agree that the whole instance of them being together was...
Yeah, that was weird.
Anything you would like to wrap up with?
I mean, not really. Not that I like. Again, everything is a blur. I have zero, like almost zero memory of everything. I mean, he didn't necessarily like do anything weird. Like, I don't want to say like, oh, he groomed me, but like we did. Like, anytime that it was just us two, like we wouldn't lay down together touching, but we would lay down and everything. That's like the weirdest thing I think he did to me, at least. I don't know if that's considered grooming or anything, but
I don't know. I don't think I would consider that.
That's like the weirdest thing he's ever like done to me that I have like full memory of. So, but yeah, that apart from that, that's it.
Okay.
So you just wanted to start talking about it?
Yeah, basically start how you met him, and then leading up to the situation, and then your point of view, and everything you know from your personal standpoint, and saw, heard, all that stuff.
It's been a long time already. I think like 4 or 5 years now. But I just know that once I've got to meet him, well, obviously he bring me into the group of friends and stuff that we're in. Haven't had too much remembrance about how the entire thing happened, but I know that at some point, obviously, I started feeling stuff for him. I want to date, and I try to get closer and closer to him as the more I was started getting attracted. At the time when I asked him out, and I asked him for a date after a couple months of knowing each other, I was pretty much said or like told that he had already someone else that he was thinking about, someone else that he wanted to probably date, and he let me know of it, and pretty much saying that at the same time he felt stuff for me as well. The way that I felt how the entire thing was going is it kind of felt like a competition in the terms of they were saying maybes all the time, as in maybe I'm going to be interested in you, maybe I'll take you over and stuff. They were leading me on into something that I didn't really know what I was getting into because awestruck, I guess. But I came to a point after kind of getting burnt out by it that I was not going to be the one chosen. There was another person, which I'm still not sure if it's I guess, or someone else, but they went for this person, and so I just went. I'm just gonna let them be and leave. And turns out that later on we found out that that person was underage, probably about 14. When Dark, I believe, was 23 or 22 at the time.
I believe he was 22. Yeah.
It was 22. Oh, there we go. It was fucked up. Really fucked up. We try to crack down on it. We try to call him out, and as much as we try to call out, he just thought it was normal, and he didn't see any problem with it. Saying stuff like it's my choice, so you don't get to choose anything, and so on and so forth. So he kept changing names as well. So I think that during that period as well, he did try to change to try and disappear. He had plenty of alt accounts, Tesla and stuff like this. He ripped my avatar at one point to try and make me feel even worse, saying that my action had consequences, which I assume is referencing the me and the bunch of group of friends calling him out for pretty much being a pedophile. I have heard from him back and forth after this entire ordeal. I just know that during a period, he came back to me saying that he wanted me again, even though we figured out at the end that it was just a lie because he just wanted the attention, until he had found another group of minors to date, which at this time was a couple that he joined in a polyamorous relationship, and we're not too sure about the ages of them, but we know that it was two minors that he was with. I pretty much told him no because of all the fucked up stuff that happened. It turns out that we did good because after breaking up with him, because his relationship was terrible, he just kept going in and forth with minors. It turns out that his stuff didn't last long. They broke up. After breaking up, he disappeared for an entire year, where I didn't have any news from him until the very end of the year, where in New Year's Eve, he, I think, joined up on me. I forgot what it was, but I saw him on VR. He was faking to be drunk, faking to have heart issues, because of everything that he had happened, and pretty much just begging again for my attention when I just denied everything or told him no. And during that entire year, found out again that he was with another person, another minor, which I guess 17 years old. And pretty much after he saw that he wasn't going to get any attention from me, I think he just left again. Blocked him everywhere anyways, blocked him from Discord, blocked him for video chat, for all the shit that he has done over the months. I only heard from him recently again from Twitter, because I had a Twitter DM from one of his alt accounts, sorry. He was trying to meet me again. He was trying to pretty much just act as if nothing happened, and just wanted to hear from me, saying that, quote, he hates having people hating him. I just didn't care because he was pretty much just asking me if I remembered who he was, trying to see if I'd forgotten about him. The Twitter account in question has changed at least, I think, 4 or 5 times usernames, Because, again, every single time that someone catches him, every single time that he is being called out for his shit, he changes his username and just tells that it's misinformation, which is obviously false. But it just doesn't support the fact that he's being called out for it, and it just tries to escape it. I've heard that he entered, through a friend of mine, I heard that he entered into the AD scene. AD is like sexual stuff, I guess, for real. So it's like porn content for VRChat. It's like pictures, vids, I guess, and stuff like this. So that's why it's giving me a big red flag considering the amount of things that he had happened. He tried to be hanging out with me again. I refused. And he just took the L and never came back so far, and only remembered about him because of the post that you have done. Because I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this piece of shit exists. So yeah, finally being called out for all this shit, and that's pretty much resumed of what I had with him my entire times. And this account for sure we know is him because the voice is pretty much the same. I have DMs with that guy on Twitter that does mention, not his name, it does mention stuff about him being a pedo, so that is just more stuff that we're looking through and the more that cross-checks, and also his current account that he's active in, because he tweeted it about 4 hours ago now, I think, replying to someone, reposting under his older account, which was Froze, where there's content from his bought channel, because he had a YouTube channel that he bought it for.
Not to cut you off here, but I do have a question. So when you said the like pedo accusations, did you see that on his new account, or was that somebody doing it on his old account? Like, was somebody else doing that? Are you saying, or?
No, I think that it's him on his alt account just retweeting stuff from his older account.
Oh, just kind of like saying like, oh, what are these, like he's like on his alt account like retweeting like basically like, whoa, what are these accusations? Kind of like in a sense defending himself in regards like that,
In a
or
way, yes.
okay.
In a way, yes. He has, at least on his older account, he has called out on it saying that it was lies. On his newer account, I did see something saying that he didn't want it to be back in the past or something along the lines. I'm not sure of what was exactly said, but it's just a lot of quote-unquote remorse, but he keeps doing the exact same thing over and over again, so I'm not surprised that he did it again.
One of the things I'd like to circle back to is that the last person you mentioned that he dated, you said was 17. Did you ever get like a confirmation on that they were 17 at the time? Because I think that's the first I'm hearing of that.
I just know that they mentioned it themselves at one point. They didn't mention their age. Rather, when me and the group of friends confronted him about suspicion about dating a minor, he was always avoiding the age. At least when we asked him to, like, directly, he was always avoiding the age of the person he was dating, saying that why would we care? Why this? Why that? Etc. And when we actually found out, first of all, because at one point I DM'd the person, asking them just about general questions and stuff. That was before I knew they were underage. I was questioning them, and they were pretty much saying that they were barely out of, I forgot which class it was, but they were pretty much in class still. They were pretty much in school, far
Like public
away
school.
from, yeah, like far away from getting a job. And I just know that there was one point way after we called him out on it, where there was they were finally putting their name on their bio, like the person they were dating, and it was saying, "Oh, I just turned 18." So it kind of implies that
Oh
they were
shit.
just underage at that point. I could not find the profile again because obviously it's been years and I've never friended the person. It's probably just a grain of salt, I guess, or something to shoot out in the dark, but we do know that afterwards that person was underage. mostly just because they confirmed it themselves after one point, and it's just everything kind of matches up.
All right, and then to wrap up, do you have anything you would like to add? You would like to say to wrap up?
Pretty much, he's gonna try to switch up. He's gonna make probably a new alt account, and he's gonna just try to hide everything. And he's probably, after the video is gonna be posted or anything else, he's probably just gonna post a tweet about it saying that it's all lies and stuff, but he's just like doing a face like hiding himself. I'm not surprised if he does something like this again. He's a pedophile.
All
That's
right.
pretty much all.
Hello. So, I met Dark, or whatever his name is now. He went through so many names, so many different changes. It's kind of hard to keep him up. I think currently is Froze, but I met him with Brian back in the day when I was younger, and when Brian used to stream on VR chat a lot, and with him and his friends. And that's how I kind of met you, and that's kind of how I met them and everything. I will be honest, from everything I can remember, it's been a while, I don't think I knew exactly what was going on up until you had made mention of it to me, I believe. I think at that point, that's when I started to become aware of the situation. So I will admit, I had kept this guy on my friends list at one point, just to kind of see what he was like doing, and I had noticed he was being with a little bit too friendly with one of our friends who we now know is. I don't remember if he had a different name back then, but I went to a World of Murder. At one point, I came at there because I don't think he knew that I knew of what was going on. I had joined him at one point when he was blue because he was always on orange or something like that, like most people on there. But I joined him and I kind of just wanted to ask, as someone, kind of acting as someone who didn't know, but I wanted to see how honest he would be. So I'd asked him, hey, how's it going? What's been happening with you? And he kind of asked about, like, what happened? Where did you go? You've been kind of, like, radio silent. And he had told me, it's like, oh, I've just gotten drama with this one guy, but it's all alright, nothing too much. He never mentioned that, he had got in trouble with getting a little too close with someone that was a minor, that he knew was a minor, but you could probably chalk it up to, us also being in a public world, but the fact he wasn't going to be honest that, of his situation just kind of speaks volume of itself. There's not much else I do know, and I think he kind of blocked me, or I unfriended him at some point, because I don't know where he is now.
If you could speak to Dark now, what would you like? What would you want to say to him?
What more could I say to him? Like, I mean, one thing if you didn't know and you were just like, oh shit, but no, you knew, you had learned, and then you kept going, and that in of itself is just, that's fucked, dude. You knew what you were doing, and that made you were like, that's my life. No, dude, that's how you scar people. It's grooming. Yeah. It's just fucked, man. And the fact that you lied to me, you couldn't be honest when I had asked you, even as not coming in as someone who was like going to interrogate you, but trying to see your side, the truth. You lied to me, man. Just goes to show you're dishonest. So you know what? Excuse my language, but go fuck yourself. And I hope you learn from this, and whatever cometh, it come hard, and you get what you deserve.
I just wanted to go over some of the tweets with you, and posted stuff on both Twitters, on both Froze and Everskies.
Yeah, he's going like back and forth.
Yeah, which is funny because he never denied the connection. By the way, as a matter of fact, he only he put up posts that were pretty much the same response on both accounts. So here's the one I want to start off with, because this is the first response I could find to him. He responded to my tweet. It's new video finally, but this one is different, more serious. This one we talk about at Froze, also known as at Everskies. did what I should have done forever ago, and then I posted the video. Um,
Yeah,
and they responded with, "You've weaponized old wounds into a crusade, not for truth, but to force me out. It has been years and still you're watching, stalking, and digging. That's not justice, that's obsession. No matter how hard you push, I ain't going anywhere. I'm done engaging with your shit." So now, just off the bat, I want to know how that makes you feel, because they say that I've weaponized old wounds into a crusade, right? But they weren't the one that was groomed. They groomed you. So how does that how does that make you feel? Like, I don't understand how somebody can be the person in the wrong here, and they're victimizing themselves. How does that make you feel?
dude, honestly, it pisses me off. Like, this response is so damn dumb. You've weaponized old wounds into crusade. It's like he's hoping that this grooming shit that he did a few years back is gonna somehow magically disappear. No, this shit sticks with you for the rest of your life. You groomed me when I was a fucking 14-year-old. You should be put on the registry. People get put on the registry, and you can literally get an app and you can see them, and you can know pretty much everything about them, or like what they look like and what they have done. That's what we need to do for this guy. And responding to, it's been years and you're still watching, stalking, digging, that's not justice, that's obsession. What we're trying to do is trying to get justice out of this, and obviously we do have to do a little bit of digging and stalking, and of course we kind of have to do that so we can protect other minors, other people. And he's a bit hypocritical with the stalking and digging, because that's literally what he did to me when we were still together. Like, bro was extremely paranoid. He would have to have me show my screen on Discord. He's like asking a bunch of questions, like, "Oh, have you talked to like Retro or any of this?" and yada yada. Which honestly baffles my mind, because he even had a logger on VR chat where he can tell when I've been online, when I've unfriended him, or like all of that, which is honestly fucking crazy.
There's a lot to unpack there. To for me to jump in a little bit, I want to say that stalking, this is not stalking. Okay, this is like screenshots of DMs, right? Stalking would be going out of her way to follow them around and trying to get every bit of details we can, like making an alt account to go and check on their fucking what they're doing on VR chat, or making alt accounts to harass and all that stuff. I have not made any alt accounts. I have not sent anybody to go and harass. All I have done is talk to people I know who were around for this event, and who have witnessed in their own DMs with him. Stalking would be me going after his family and sending his family some shit. I have not done that. I have not contacted Dark himself. I have not contacted him on another account. I have not followed him around on anything. I have simply shown messages between him and him and a minor, provided to me by the minor. That's not stalking by any means. And then now working way into the shit with the logger. How did he? Like, I know last time we talked about it, you said that you gave him your login stuff for the live, for the streamer shit. And that he went into your account and removed everybody. How does the logger thing, like, how does one person put a logger onto your account or whatever?
Oh no, they didn't put a logger onto my account. They just had like a plugin or something, like probably like a Google extension where they can just kind of view everything that happens on VR chat. It's just like a in general logger, and I did remember about the him stealing my account, and I did find my old credentials in the DMs, and I completely forgot that I handed it to him so he can put the avatars that he ripped, so then I could upload it. Well, I mean, he kind of uploaded it for me, I guess, and that's how he got my credentials.
So for the avatar ripping stuff, I do want to circle back to that in a minute. I want to finish unpacking the other stuff. Going back to where he asked you and like made you share your screen and all that stuff and asked you. He asked you if you had talked to me or anything like that.
Yeah, he did ask me that a few times when we were still together. And I did respond with like no, because I mean I really didn't talk to you that much when this was going on.
Yeah, we
But yeah,
really
like,
didn't talk too much during this other than me telling you to not, like, that was not okay. Which I'm sure we could find those DMs pretty easily. Um Circling back to the other thing for the ripped avatars. Um how many ripped avatars did he like have, and how, like, did he ever talk about it, like how, like, was he proud about it, or like how did he, how what was his reaction with that?
this is going based off of memory, but I think he had like around 3 to 4 ripped avatars that he uploaded to my account. I don't know if they were like Wicker Beasts or what the hell. I kind of forgot. And it seemed like he didn't really like care about the ripped avatars. He didn't seem like too proud of it, like at all. Maybe he was at the time, but he didn't really give any hints about that.
So I am aware of one of the ripped avatars being, I'm sure now that if those weren't screenshotted this conversation, that is probably now deleted by Dark because he's just went on a fucking deleting rampage. Um,
Just trying to cover up the tracks that we already exposed.
yeah.
Thank you for being dumb.
But as opposed to that, are you aware of like the other two avatars that, like, do you know whose they possibly were?
Oh, I have no idea. This was back in like 2022. I do not remember, and I would go back on my old account and see if those are avatars are still uploaded, but that's kind of all gone because he kind of removed everything on that account.
So he deleted all the avatars that had been uploaded too, especially the ripped ones.
Yeah, probably on that account. He probably still has all the assets from those ripped avatars onto his computer. He had me upload those avatars because he didn't have the computer at the time.
Moving on to the next tweet, where he said people have tried to define me by a version of the past that is no longer reflects who I am. That was written really weird. I am no longer engaging in that cycle, no matter how often it's brought back. It won't change anything. I've moved on while others remain stuck. That's final. So, I, I had,
It's so hard to take this shit serious.
that's so crazy to me because, like, I just want to know your thoughts on that because personally, I feel like it's him trying to disassociate with himself. It's him admitting that he, like, in my eyes, him admitting he knows what he did wrong, but I'm not that person anymore. And also at the same time saying that he is not in the wrong. Like it's I'm in the wrong, but I'm not in the wrong, and that, like, like, as if it's traumatic for him, you know, and I want to say that, like, he says that it others are stuck, right? Do you think that's fair for him to do what he did to you? And, like, if you it had okay, let me rewind back. Has he ever come back after he had groomed you and apologized or anything like of that sort?
Yeah, yeah, he definitely did try. I think it was like sometime around 2023, and then it was like at some random point that we just like stopped talking to each other. We kind of just separated, just kind of naturally. But honestly, I'm glad it went out like that, just so I don't have to deal with this fucking bullshit. And I do have to agree with the tweet where he basically did admit. He's like, yeah, I was a pedophile, but don't worry, I'm no longer a pedophile. Can you guys like forgive me? Like, it's kind of how I'm sort of viewing it. It boggles my mind how he pulled some like mental gymnastics to say that shit.
Now, in your personal opinion, do you think it's fair for him to say that, like, he moved on and others remain stuck, do you feel like it's something that people can talk about no matter like what, even if it somehow miraculously ended amicably, or like let's say somebody went, like let's say that he went to jail, right? He got put on the registry. Do you think that it still would be okay, in your personal opinion, for people to either criticize, make fun, or even talk about the conversation?
Like, like blinking over here, like saying like it's okay to like criticize like after what he's done, or like,
So I'm saying
or
like,
like other people like moving on.
so like I'm saying that like hypothetically, because he's saying that like people have remained stuck, and but he moved on. So I'm saying that like even like let's just say he did end up going to jail, right? And he got put on the registry and he served his time and he came out. Do you feel like in that moment where he had quote moved on, but other people remain stuck, basically meaning that people talk about the situation still, do you feel like that is fair criticism to still talk about something someone has done, even if like they've went through the proper repercussions? Not that he has, but hypothetically.
Yeah, honestly, it would still be okay to kind of bring it up again, just so you're like cautious about this person. Like we put people on the registry, so we are careful of who we talk to avoid this individual. So I think that's pretty fair how we can just like kind of still talk about what he has done, because that shit ain't going. That's not gonna go away. Hell to the nah.
One of the more important ones that we will get into here is the one that he has pinned on his Twitter. It says, "It's unfortunate to see a resolved issue being used as a tool for characteristic attacks. I handled the situation when it happened, and I've moved forward with integrity. I deny the renewed allegations and any suggestions of wrongdoing since that time." So, what I want to get in here a little bit is the fact that he says since that time is interesting. Wrongdoing since that time. But what I want to ask you mainly here is, he says that it was a resolved issue. Now, in your personal opinion, do you think that him grooming you has been quote resolved, in your personal opinion?
Hell no. On what fucking planet is that shit been resolved? Just because he admitted that he was a pedophile doesn't mean it was resolved, or that we went quiet about it for a few years and now coming back to it. It was never resolved in the first place. We're just coming back just so we can get some fucking justice out of this. So we can do something about this monster. Lock this dude up. Get him out.
I'm gonna take a little pause there and just say, that hell nah. Now, when he said he handled the situation when it happened, we already both know this is not true, because he continued to date you, even after knowing you were a minor, which I want to get into. When he dated you, did you fully disclose your age? Did you tell him you were?
Oh, he 100% knew my age. 110%. He should have known better. He knew my age at the time. He was even there at my fucking birthday.
He was there at your
I think it was like 15th birthday, yeah.
Okay, so but that was that before, or no, that was after you guys had started dating, I think, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
But no, like even so, he knew. Like I remember that DM that you sent back in 2021 when me and were together, and Dark messaged me because he knew we were both under the age. He knew at that time. He knew. He's known since 2021 about my age, and we started dating in 2022.
That is true. He did send you a message saying that you guys are both minors and that you should be careful on VR chat. I do have that photo too. And I seriously sometimes can't even read some of this shit with a straight face, because it's just so mind-boggling to me. it's one of those things where you groom somebody. You can't say you handled the situation. That's not something that gets handled by you. That gets handled by authorities, by the police.
Yeah.
That's not something that that you handle yourself. Especially the fucking most disgusting thing I had read from your guys' DMs was the fact of him saying, "Who will know?" when you mentioned that ERPing with minors is bad, and he mentioned, "Who will know?"
Dude, oh my god, I forgot about that. I read that shit. When I sent you the screenshot, I was like, buddy, what? I was absolutely mind blown.
And then he followed up with saying, "I know you wanted it to at some point," or something to that regards. Which that doesn't matter if you wanted to or not. He is an adult. You were a minor. He should know better. Now, last line in that says, "I deny the renewed allegations and any suggestion of wrongdoing since that time." Now, you being just one of the victims of this fucking atrocity, well, how does that make you feel that somebody can just deny the allegations even after there's so much proof where you show your DMs, I show my DMs, and so many people getting together talking about this topic, and they still full steam ahead keep saying they deny the renewed allegations?
Honestly, what my thoughts are on this, like, this dude's just dumb as fuck. And he's just making himself look even dumber. He's like going back and forth where he tries to deny it, but also he admits it at the same time, which those two counteract each other because he either did it or he didn't, which he obviously did, and there's no denying it. He said it in his own words that he is a pedophile, that he groomed me. He said that shit himself and trying to deny that.
But how does that last part make you feel being one of his victims?
Any suggestion of wrongdoing since that time? I don't exactly know what he means by that.
I think what he's trying to say there is that, like, ever since the allegations came out, he hasn't done anything since those original allegations have come out. So in a sense, it's him saying he denies the allegations, but he hasn't done anything since those first set of allegations have come out. Oh fuck! Smoke detector's going off in my house. Give it a second. But do you have any closing statements that you would like to say, either to Dark or about Dark, and how he says it's resolved?
Yeah, honestly, personally, the only way that I think it would be somewhat resolved is if he goes to prison and gets on the registry. That is the only way that this shit is going to get resolved. This issue does not go away naturally. There's like no statute of limitations on this shit. This is going to stick with you for your entire life. As long as you live, this is going to be stuck to you. You are a pedophile, period. And honestly, if you're watching this, Dark, hit me up. Let's talk one more time. I got some nice things to say to you.